a lot of viewers are interested in how you got to where you are today. So let's talk about your career in life. Tell me your upbringing a little bit, and then how you became a sports writer.
Well, I grew up in Ohio, which is kind of in the middle of the United States. I just loved baseball when I was a kid. And, when I was about 14 years old, I realized that they pay people to write about baseball. And I thought that would be a really cool career. So I sort of, through high school, started pursuing that. And I worked for the high school newspaper. And then I went to college. I studied journalism. I worked for a college newspaper. And I got a job right out of college at the Los Angeles Times. And I covered high school sports and some small college sports and then minor league baseball. And then a few years after that, I got a job in the San Francisco area, and I covered the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's. So that was my first time really covering Major League Baseball. That was 1997. I did that for about 11 years. Then I had another job where I was a national baseball writer for a site called AOL Fan House, which is sort of similar to The Athletic now, although it was not a subscription site. So I didn't really cover one team. I just covered baseball, and I could write about, whatever I wanted. And then I got this job in 2012, after the 2012 season. The spring of 2013 was when I really first started covering Angels games for the Orange County Register. I've been doing that ever since, and I really enjoy it.
The city you grew up in, was it a big city or a suburban area or a rural area with a lot of farms?
It was a pretty small town, but there was a university in it, Ohio University, which is where I went to college. It was sort of very rural, but also because of the university being there, there was a lot of, smart people walking around and a lot of technology and that kind of thing. It was a good place to grow up.
Did you play baseball growing up?
Oh yeah, I played like Little League and recreational baseball. I was not good enough to play on a high school team or anything like that, but I played like every other kid in America. I played that kind of baseball.
What about baseball that got you hooked so much?
I don't know. I think it's kind of the everyday part of it that I like, that it's such a routine. There's not like a huge amount of hype and stress around every game. It's just kind of like a normal everyday thing, and you can sort of watch it evolve as the whole season goes on. And it's also, it's in the summer and it's nice outside and it's relaxing to go to games. So I think that's kind of why I went towards baseball more than the other sports.
What was your favorite team and players growing up?
Well, believe it or not, my favorite team was the Seattle Mariners. Even though I lived nowhere near Seattle, the part of Ohio I grew up was at least 3 hours away from Cincinnati and Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So I didn't really live close enough to where I could see those teams all the time. So I sort of could pick from whoever I wanted. And when I was 9 years old, I thought the Mariners had cool uniforms. And they had the All-Star game there that year. And so those kind of confluence of events sort of made me like the Mariners. And Phil Bradley was one of my favorite players when I was a kid. Harold Reynolds, who people know now as an analyst, he was one of my favorite players. And then as I got a little older, Ken Griffey Jr. Became probably my favorite player of all time. And he's actually the same age as me. So it's hard for me to say he was my favorite when I was a kid. But those are probably my top guys.
Have you met Ken Griffey through work?
Yes, I have. I've interviewed him a couple times. It was interesting. He's sort of a guy that can be a little prickly at certain times. I think he's, a really good guy most of the time, but you get to see the guys in the whole spectrum of their personality when you have the chance to talk to them in the clubhouse. So that was interesting.
Hey viewers, let me know what you think about Jeff's life story. And if you have any more questions, please write in the comment section below. If you have questions for Jeff about his job or how he does his job or anything related to baseball, please write in the comment section below. What's the most exciting season that you've witnessed as a reporter?
I would say probably the 2007 season when I was covering the Giants. The Giants were actually terrible that year, but that was the year Barry Bonds broke the all-time home run record. So just to kind of watch that whole thing happen over the last month as he got close to the record, that was pretty cool. There was a lot of excitement around that. I think that, Barry Bonds was not a great guy, and he was not fun to deal with. But still, you're talking about one of the most significant records in all of American sports. And to have the chance to see that record be broken was something I won't forget. And then really this year, watching Shohei Ohtani, that was pretty good too. I mean, that's something that we've never seen before. And, you don't want to take that for granted, that what he was doing was really incredible.
This is a tough question for you probably now that Shohei Ohtani's kind of succeeded as a two-way player, but who was the most exciting player you've covered?
Well, if we're excluding Ohtani, it was probably Barry Bonds, again, because he was just so far above what everybody else was doing. I mean, you talk about Mike Trout and, the big offensive numbers he put up, and, Albert Pujols, what he did throughout his career, and Shohei Ohtani, what he did was different because he was a two-way player. But if you just look at a pure offensive dominance, nobody was close to what Barry Bonds did in 2002, 3, and 4. 2001, 2, 3, and 4. He was like a mile ahead of the next best player in baseball. And obviously he was cheating. He was using steroids. But still, the result that we saw on the field was incredible. There would be times you just knew he was going to hit a home run, and he hit one. So that was still a pretty amazing thing to watch.
Is there a baseball game that you still remember covering because of the excitement around it, or anything, any memorable games that you can remember?
Oh yeah, there's tons of them. I would say probably the most exciting game I ever covered, just from the circumstances of the game itself rather than any individual player's performance in it, is the Giants Marlins Game 4 of the division series in 2003. It was a really crazy back and forth game. There were a lot of big plays, and it ended on out at the plate. The guy was thrown out at the plate to end a postseason series. So that was pretty exciting. The Marlins won and went on to win the World Series.
There's supposed to be no cheering in the press box, but do you remember what it was like that moment at the plate, when that play happened at the plate in the press box?
No, I don't. I'm sure everybody just kind of gasped, and but then that play ends the game, so everybody all of a sudden has to have their story down. So it's different than if a play like that happens in the fifth inning. Everybody can kind of gasp and talk about it, but at that moment it's like, okay, that was crazy, now I have to finish my story. So it was a different kind of moment.
Do you have a favorite story that you've written?
I don't think so. I wrote one that was really kind of fun. That was when I was a fan house, I could write whatever I wanted, and I'd try to find something different. And at one point I got the idea that it would be kind of cool to talk to people who were working in Antarctica, the South Pole, about baseball and how they followed baseball while they were living basically the most remote place on Earth. And so I got in touch with some of the people working down there, and I got on a phone call with them, and they told me about how, when it's summer up here, when it's baseball season, it's just night the whole time down there. And that they really get, you can get kind of depressed, and it can be sort of an emotional issue to be living where there's no sun for months and months. And baseball season, really helps them, and they kind of trash talk each other. Like one guy was a Mets fan and one guy was a Yankees fan, and it was just a fun story to do, and a story that I'm pretty sure nobody else had written. So I enjoyed that one.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. You can also watch our past videos from the description below. Hope to see you again next time.